Don't you want to become a cult leader? Since the death of God, there's been a vacancy open. You could fill that void. Here's how.
Hi there, it's your favorite ex-JEHOVAH'S Witness, Wordly Sam. Welcome back to my 6-part series where I will be using the format of the hit Netflix show, How to Become a Cult Leader, to help break down how the JWs are a cult. Without further ado, let's jump right in to episode 3. A cult leader must understand their target's desires, such as finding out the truth about the world or finding happiness. Regardless of what they promise to help people with, they have to lean fully into it without reservation. High-control groups like the JWs preach a promise that they know not just members, but everyone around the world desperately wants right now, especially with how things are going globally. Paradise. They teach that faithful members will survive Armageddon and then get to live forever in a paradise earth free from sickness, death, war, suffering, crime, and aging. They even claim that everyone will get to see their dead loved ones again when the resurrection takes place after Jesus Christ's 1,000-year reign. For billions of people in the world suffering right now, that promise checks off everything a person could possibly want in a perfect world, which makes it incredibly manipulative. As long as members stay loyal to Jehovah's organization, paradise is seen as a guarantee, not a possibility. The more time and effort is put in, the more emotionally invested a cult leader's followers become. A cult leader knows that controlling both their followers' thoughts, actions, and time make it nearly impossible for anyone to extricate themselves from the flock. JWs place enormous emphasis on service and productivity in the organization, as we talked about in episode 2. If they're not at meetings, they're out in the ministry. If they're not doing personal study, they're getting ready for an assembly or regional, and the list goes on. With all the time that goes into being seen as a productive spiritual member of the group, a person naturally begins to view their efforts as an investment. This in turn makes it very difficult, psychologically, to leave, should they start to see the cracks in the organization. Some do see those cracks and ignore it due to what is known as the sunk cost fallacy. They cannot accept that years, or even decades of their life was built around something they're now questioning. This is especially felt by lifelong witnesses, pioneers, elders, Bethelites, or people who sacrificed careers, education, relationships, or opportunities for the truth. It's not enough for a cult leader to make people think alike. Their followers' individuality must be crushed in every way. This is most commonly done through visual appearances, but can also be done by how the group acts as a whole. Especially back in the day, JWs were very strict on their appearance, modesty, and conduct. Nowadays, certain grooming standards have loosened a bit, such as allowing brothers to have beards or allowing sisters to wear pants in certain situations. Regardless, conformity is still deeply embedded in the Jehovah's Witness culture. Tattoos are heavily discouraged, piercings are limited, and hairstyles, plus their color, are scrutinized. The clothing they do wear must be appropriate and modest so as not to tempt the opposite sex. Ooh la la. Even a member's personality traits are expected to be considerably tamed, being too independent, too opinionated, or drawing attention to yourself is considered very negative because in high control systems, individuality is seen as a threat to the unity. So standing out really in any way is just asking for the elders to watch you that much more closely. In order for a cult leader to be at the center of the flock's universe, they must reconstruct their members' identity from the ground up. This includes severing any bonds they have outside the group, even if they must be shamed into submission. Now keep in mind, not every JW was born into the religion. Some have converted as adults, and shortly after they do, they're told to put on the new personality and distance themselves from their former lifestyle, friendships, as well as family. Any worldly associates are viewed as spiritually dangerous because outsiders could weaken their faith or pull them away from the truth. Members are intentionally made each other's primary and only social means, so as not to introduce any ideas that could possibly undo the doctrination that's already taken place. This keeps the JWs and everything they stand for at the forefront of each member's mind at all times. Once followers are cut off from the outside world, they naturally seek comfort from other members. But a cult leader can't have that, as allegiance can switch very quickly to each other rather than to the leader. Division equals control. JW culture has created a system where members are coerced to monitor one another in a very insidious way. If a member knows that another member has engaged in misconduct, such as by smoking, listening to music seen as ungodly, or most commonly for having intercourse, they are told to report it to the elders to save that person's life. If the person doesn't, it's put into their mind that they are complicit in the other person's sins and no better than them. The organization gets away with this by framing tattletaling as protecting the congregation. Psychologically, however, it creates an atmosphere where there's little privacy and trust. Loyalty to the organization comes before any loyalty to each other. So when members fear being reported, judged, or even disciplined by just fellowshipping and shunning, self-censorship becomes automatic. Once a cult leader controls every single thing there is to control about their members, their minds are ready to be fed anything. However, all information must continue to be funneled from one source alone, the cult leader themselves. Every single thing about the Jehovah's Witnesses, their doctrines, policies, teachings, and interpretations, it all comes straight from the governing body. Not only that, but they approve publications, videos, meeting material, doctrinal updates, as well as organizational direction. There is no elder or circuit overseer that has more authority than them. Now, if a brother with some level of authority, like an elder or circuit overseer, were to disagree with the governing body on any matter, their privileges are swiftly taken away if they are found out, as they would be accused of questioning the governing body's authority as God's channel. This creates complete dependency on the governing body for any information and guidance. So if anyone has the audacity to pop up and claim that they know more, or that they disagree with what the top dogs say, they are looked at as an apostate and then disciplined, even shunned. Starting to believe that Jehovah's Witnesses just might actually be a cult? Just wait till you watch episode 4. And there you have it, my fellow Wordlies. Thank you so much for supporting my page. Please remember to like, comment, follow, share, and don't forget about my YouTube channel. See y'all in the next episode. Wordly Sam, out.